All right. Ready? Let's do it.
Warm it up.
Warm it up.
Heat it up. Heat it up. Heat it up. Oh, sure. I'm going to take my hoodie off.
It's getting warm in here. Did somebody turn up the heat? What's up? Wait, what did Martin? You ever see Martin? You never seen the Martin show, did you?
Now we can watch Martin. No.
Oh man, so Martin had his own radio show, and Martin, every time he got on the radio, he'd introduce him like he was introducing, and he started show off by saying, "What's up? What's up? What's up?"
He was the only one on there, or there was other people on there?
Yeah, nah, he was the only one. I mean, he would have guests and stuff like that, but that was his it was his show. It was a talk show. Like it was a podcast before a podcast. Now that I think about it. That's tough.
Martin starting something.
That's tough.
See you out here, Martin.
Oh man, what is good? New listeners, old listeners.
You know what is good? Welcome to the year 2023.
Yes.
First podcast of the year.
Yes. And Happy New Year to everybody. New listeners, old listeners, Happy New Year to you. This is going to be the year where you are going to chase your dreams. That's my motivational speech for 2023.
How fast do you want them to chase it?
Chase it like I don't know, like a Ferrari. That's a t-shirt. Be a Ferrari to everybody else's Honda.
Whoa.
No shade to anybody that drives Honda.
No shade. But y'all ain't going fast. You might still get to your dreams, but you ain't going that fast.
It just take a little bit longer. That's all.
That's all right. Everyone's got their own path.
Slow and steady wins the race. Oh man.
Yes.
So what's you got any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolution. Every year I have the same one: be taller, grow hair on my head. But you know, we still learning. We still trying to get that.
Yo, technology and medical sciences increase every year, bro. This might be your year.
I got to get my knees done to get taller. No, but seriously, man, just try to be safe and healthy, and trying to keep letting players achieve their goals, man.
Big facts.
Yeah. No. What about you?
Just to continue to grow. You know, they said.
Who's they?
I don't know. Whoever said it, but they said somewhere I heard that if you're not learning and growing, you're dying.
You know what I heard? If you don't drink a lot of water, you have the chances of 20% to die earlier.
That's why you got that jug.
So drink your water.
Oh man,
I like it.
But yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to continue to learn, continue to grow, make sure that everybody around me is safe and healthy, and continue to, inspire and push people to reach their dreams.
Yes. And before we get started, I just want to send our thoughts and prayers to the Bills safety.
Demar Hamlin.
Yes, Demar Hamlin. You guys probably know, but went into cardiac arrest during a football play, during a tackle. And it kind of just brought back some old thoughts of my teammate Wes Leonard, who passed away due to an enlarged heart after hitting his game-winning shot. But it was really good to see. Now he's awake, talking. Still not 100% healthy, but the fact that he's awake, and they used an AED machine on the field, and I'm not saying that saved him, but it definitely did.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah. It definitely did a number, but yeah, I mean, thoughts and prayers to his family and him. Hopefully he gets, he recovers soon, but,
absolutely.
But yeah, those AED machines are huge. I love the fact that, they're around, pretty much everywhere that you go, and I can't wait to get ours. And,
yeah.
But yeah, man, speedy recover to him.
Absolutely. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest news item of the week, outside of, the holidays and everybody kind of getting back into, I don't want to say real life, but, life after the holidays. It kind of, back into the normal moving and grooving.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're here. We're doing it.
But it's really cool how everyone kind of got together, especially like his GoFundMe. I know that he had a GoFundMe account for I want to say it was for children.
Yeah.
And it's like over, I think the last I heard was like over 3 million.
Oh, it's over 5 now.
Is it over 5?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing like how everyone can kind of just get together and get behind someone and just support them and even people that don't know him and they just, wish for the best.
Yeah, that's the magic of sports.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Magic of sports is amazing. Sports are amazing. They really bring people together. Unlike anything I can think of, maybe music, maybe arts and things like that, but sports, man, they really have a way of, when it comes down to it, it's a competitive nature, but when in need and it's necessary, it's a group, a community that can come together and make good things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Even those that don't even are attached to the sport, they're attached to the human.
Yeah.
But man, it's awesome to see.
Absolutely.
It gets better soon.
Absolutely. So let's dive in, man. What do we want to talk about today? I think one of the biggest things that we have on the topic table today,
yes,
is measuring
the topic table.
You like that, right?
I like it.
Measuring skill progress and the development.
Yes.
How do you track that? How do you find out how well you're doing? How do you find out if you're getting better? It's one of those things that's really difficult to kind of as a player, tell yourself or see for yourself. You kind of have to use the reassurance from others to kind of know whether or not you're getting there.
Yeah.
Outside of like some competition things and things like that, I think even with that, it's kind of difficult because stats don't always tell the true story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So how do you think, what's the best way for players to measure their progress?
Well, I'll give you an example. So basically, how do you measure your height, right? So like as a parent, you're seeing your children, your kids every day. You can't really tell that they're getting taller, right? Yeah. So like to maybe someone that you see every year, let's say around the holidays, they can see it right away because they don't see you all the time.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back to the olden days where I never did this, but like you would draw a line on the wall,
mm-hmm.
and you mark the date, and now you're, the next week or the next month you draw a new one and you're taller than that line. Unfortunately, I stayed at the same line since I was like in 6th grade, but no, I think, tracking something like that nowadays with our technology, you have phones, right? So mm-hmm. you can always video, you can always record, you can always save videos. And I think that's one way, one quick and easy way to do it, is to, when you start out skill training, start videoing, and then, a couple months, video that workout and then kind of compare and contrast. But for trainers, I think, is for us is our checklist, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the best way to start measuring and tracking stuff is, we go through our checklist. Maybe we go through an athletic trait, this week, and in 4 months, we might not focus on that same athletic trait, but we might throw it in there as like a bonus just to see if they picked it up along the way through our other skills or our abilities. But that's having a checklist, always writing it down or keeping the videos. I think that is a great way to start. Especially, if you're the player or the parent, for us trainers, we we can already kind of tell, wow, they got this already because, that's our job. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be a quick and easy way to start seeing that progress.
Yeah, and I think it's important too because, being that it's one of those things that a lot of times if you don't approach it the right way, like we said, it's immeasurable, but it's measurable, right? So if you're taking the right, if you're on the right track and you're doing the right things, making sure that you're doing the things that you can track the progression. But if you're not, again, it makes it difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you fall into that trap of believing that, oh man, this isn't working, or I'm not doing the right thing because I'm not getting better. And that's where I think a lot of players fall into trouble.
Yeah.
I think that's a parent thing and a player thing. Fortunately for us, we have lots of video to go back on to see the progress. But you start to learn players over time, and you start to see, oh, wow, there's things that he or she is doing that is telling me or visually cueing us to understand, like, wait, they are getting better.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of having that checklist, the benefit of, having those videos, and the benefit also of just making sure that you're measuring in some type of way so that you understand that, hey, this is working.
Yeah.
The last thing that you want is to get to that point where you're ready to call it quits because you think that it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like that old meme of.
I was just thinking the same thing about like the digger,
the
right?
gold digger.
Yeah,
I think he was
the diamond digger.
The diamond digger. Yeah. Just digging for diamonds, and then the one guy is almost there and then quits. Like he's literally like
one hit away.
One hit away from getting to that diamond, and he quits.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's another guy just kind of like
he's just plugging along.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
you got to find a way to measure, and that's not just a basketball thing; that's a life thing.
Yeah,
whatever it is that you're trying to do, just make sure that you have a way of measuring it.
And I think like one long route you could take that I've seen, I've seen before with basketball players, especially some players that we've worked with. But if you think about a sport that you don't always compete like every weekend or every month, so kind of take like boxing. MMA. I'm not too familiar with all this stuff, but I know they don't do it like every weekend because they have a lot of time to recover.
Gotta recover.
But I think the cool part about those, like that sport, and those two sports is you don't see them until their fight, really, right? I mean, you could see their workouts here and there on Instagram, but that's all you're seeing is their workouts. So once they go into their new fight, you can really compare from their old fight to this fight what they improved on.
Yeah.
And there was nothing in between but training and recovering.
Yep.
So I think a good way, for a long way, if you really want to kind of see your progress, is maybe in like the middle school era, or I mean, it could even be in the high school era. Maybe take a season off, right? Obviously, you don't want to do a school season if you're in high school, but maybe in middle school, you take the middle school season off, and you just work out, you just train through those couple weeks, because the middle school seasons maybe last like 2 months. So that's 8 weeks right there that you could be improving, and it's not every day, but it could be every day, it could be every other day. But then, you go into the summer and you play your game, then you can compare, like you can start to see like, oh, wow, like this is a whole new different player.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to one of our parents, and they were mentioning about a point guard who plays in the Big East. And during COVID, she hired a trainer. She wasn't projected to be very like high recruit coming in, and I think she's one of the top players in the Big East right now, and she's very undersized, but it's just like she found time to actually develop herself, work on herself, and like, she just came out of nowhere. And I think for the long run, you can pick, try to pick and choose a season where you just kind of take it off and work out and train, and training, whether it's skill enhancement or your body weight, whatever it is, and then you play that next game, like you're going to see just incredible difference.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, we've actually had that, we've worked with players in that capacity and actually have seen that transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And the other cool thing that goes along with that is that when you do something like that, whether it's taking a season off or taking, maybe not playing with this team for, a winter season or whatever the case may be, by the time you go back to them, a lot of times you'll start to get some of those rewards from the parents. Because the parents will start asking you, hey, what were you doing? Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Who you been with?
What steroids you been on?
But, that just kind of reinforces like, hey, it is working.
Like it worked. For sure.
You're getting there. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that, measuring and tracking your progress is important. Definitely make sure that you find different ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Our checklist, like we said, definitely it does just that. And that's why we have it.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a good topic. So kind of like bleeding over to that, what would you say are some ways to stay motivated and focused during your skill process or your building process?
That's a good one. Well, let's do this. Let's come up with top 3 ways. Right? All right.
Is this in order or is it randomized?
We'll do like we did last time. We'll randomize it. And then we'll put together our own.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
I like this one.
All right.
I
so
like it a lot.
What would you say? Give me one. Give me one way that you might.
You give me one. I asked you first. Man.
I would say one way that you can stay motivated is building an emotional attachment with the goal in mind. So a lot of times obviously we're going to use basketball as an example, but if you go out and you play a great game, you really killed it. Everybody's coming over to you after the game. They're high-fiving you. Their parents are saying, "Oh man, your game was so great." Da 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 da. Those are the things that are coming to you, and it's like, wow, this feels kind of good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you build an emotional attachment with that feeling, I think that you can use that as motivation to keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, so that those type of moments continue to come.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, you do have, the other side where it's like, maybe you had a bad game, maybe you had a bad streak of games,
right?
And maybe you can correlate with that with something that you've changed or done differently.
Yeah.
And using that to kind of say, man, I don't want to ever go through that again.
Yeah.
That emotional part of that and building an attachment with that can go a long ways as kind of, helping you stay motivated and focused.
Yeah.
Especially in the right direction.
For sure. Well, and there's two sides to the good game, right? So, like you mentioned, there's times where you're gonna have a great game, you're gonna love the notoriety and all the people coming up to you and congratulating you. So if you've been working, you're gonna continue that work. Now, on the flip side of that too is, let's say that you're kind of like the natural born athlete, and you have that notoriety, and you have all those comments and those all those parents coming up to you, but you're not really doing anything. You can't really think, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm not really working that hard, but because that's where you could get kind of caught. As you grow and you're not working, someone's outworking you that's not getting that notoriety at that early age. So you kind of have to play and think about both sides of it. Because I think I've seen, a lot of players go through that stage alone, and now they're like in high school or they're out of high school and they're like, I don't know what happened. Like, I used to be a great shooter. I was the best shooter in 6th grade. Now I can't shoot the heck out of the ball. Like, so you got to think about both sides of that aspect as well. But I think my favorite is obviously all the and I don't want this to sound negative, but I like all the bad thoughts, right? Because we've all had bad games, but I like to think like, hey, I don't ever want to feel this feeling again. Like, maybe I let my teammates down, maybe I let my coach down, my parents down, whatever it is. So like every time I step on the court, I'm going to try to remember how I felt, So that's going to motivate me to keep, oh man, I'm not really feeling this workout today, but do I want to suck it up for an hour, or do I want to not suck it up for the hour and feel that way? Right. So, that way of feeling is going to be way more harder on you than sucking it up for an hour of a workout, going all out. So that's the way I like that one. Just because we've all been there and we don't want to have bad games. We don't want to look bad. So that, I think that just kind of motivates you, because you definitely want to think about all the success and all that stuff. But, I think, sometimes you can get lost in that, where you kind of lose the motivation of it. But,
for sure.
But I see both ways. But yeah. But
what do you got?
So I think, jump into number 2, would be, giving yourself small rewards, right? So trying to stay motivated, let's say that you're working out so much, and you don't really know, if it's actually working. Maybe go and, a small reward would be going and challenging someone that's maybe better than you, to a one-on-one game, or going to an open run, or, trying to find ways to reward yourselves for working so hard. I kind of look at it as like a boxer and MMA, they're not going to just train for the rest of their life. They're training for, a big event, a big test. It's kind of the same way as if you're studying for an exam, you're working so hard, you're studying just to get that A+ or get that passing grade on that exam. So, you got to reward yourself, and they don't have to be big rewards. It could be small rewards, like I said, like a 1v1 against maybe one of your the best players on the team, or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think you can also do like when you think about small rewards and things like that, as I guess unathletic as it might be, treat yourself to a nice dinner or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that when you're going through the process of whether it be losing weight or something like that, one of the things that can be unmotivating is not having the ability to kind of like eat some of the foods that you like.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've always heard them recommend is, don't go away from it completely. Do all your hard work, and then maybe 2 weeks in you say, hey, you've done so good. So, hey, reward yourself to that nice steak. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's like kind of like when I was growing up. It was, I think, you work so hard for all your paychecks, and you save up and you've been grinding it out, oh, okay, maybe I can spend a little on myself, right? I can go buy these shoes. Like, I'm not going to go crazy, but again, that's rewarding yourself. And I like that too, especially, when it comes to diet. I think maybe something you're on that, right? You rewarded yourself?
A little bit.
I like the way that this guy's, I don't even know what you want to call it. Like your food diet is.
A little bit.
I get a little jealous on Tuesdays.
Yeah, no, it's always, especially with my wife and I have always had a
shout out Aaron, Miss TakeFlight.
Yes. Love you. We've always had, I don't want to say we have a tough time dieting, but diets just seem so
boring
and uninteresting. You know what I mean? So it's you just kind of try to stick to it for a long time, and it never works out that way because you're just doing, you trying to go cold turkey into just getting rid of all the bad things. But so every Tuesday we just have a cheat day.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday we go out and we, eat our meals and blah, blah, blah. And, just make it about ourselves and just have a good time in doing that. And then by Wednesday, it's right back to doing what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's cool that you can find someone to do that with, right? Because it's always hard to do it alone. But if you can find someone, whether it's a diet, workout, whatever it is, you find that someone that has the same interests and same goals as you, it can be very fun and challenging.
100%. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Number 3.
I like this one.
I think that one of the most important things in kind of like just motivating and staying focused is just being delusional. Like when you think about it, it sounds like it has a negative, what do they say, connotation?
negative ring to it.
Yeah, negative ring to it.
Yeah.
But in reality, in order to do it, in order to stay locked in on your goal, you've got to be delusional. You've got to be crazy, because a lot of people, you know, yeah, they support you, but they're also at the same time saying, yeah, maybe that's a little unrealistic.
Right.
You know, hey, you want to go to the NBA? You might want to have a backup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in order to do some of the things and stay focused and motivated, you've got to like be crazy. Yeah. You've got to have that delusional aspect of, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm crazy for thinking it, but so what?
Yeah.
You know,
it's your thoughts. It's your way to go about it. Well, think about like, I don't know why this is in my mind, but remember the movie Notorious? And he was, it was about Biggie Smalls, and he's in the classroom, and he told his, I think the teacher told him that he would never amount to anything. And he said something about, yo, I can go be a garbage man because they make like $40K. And this is like back, you know, in the 90s or whatever. But he was just like, yo, like, you know, I could do this, but, you know, at the end of the day, I know what I want to be. I want to be a rapper. And like, you know, again, like you could talk about Eminem, you could talk about Kanye, you could talk about, you know, especially anybody in the NBA that might be even undersized or that was never told that they could amount to anything. You know, that didn't stop them. They maybe used that as motivation.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I mean, I like that. You got to be delusional. You got to be crazy.
Yep. No,
crazy
definitely. So that's 3 ways that we gave you to stay motivated and focused. All right. Now spotlight's on you.
Come on now.
How would you rank those 3 in order of importance to you?
Number 1, I think you have to be delusional, right? So you got to start somewhere. You got to start with a dream, with something that you want to be, that you just want to do, right, with your life. So number 1 for me is going to be delusional. Be delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I think you have to kind of think about whether it's a success or a successful game or a bad game. You kind of have to be thinking how that can motivate you to the next in that next workout, or to get up early in the morning or stay up late at night, just to stay on track with everything. And then number 3, I think you know, once you're delusional and you're thinking about all those things, reward yourself. Got to. So I think that's my top 3.
And quite honestly, I agree with that.
You heard it here first.
Yes, yeah. I think that's you know, we've already broken it down, but being delusional just makes that much sense. You know, especially you know, you start thinking about doing things that nobody around you has ever done, and because they've never done it, they don't think it's possible.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
And that goes from being anything to whether that's an actor, an actress, a sports figure, or whatever. It's like, I don't know anybody that's ever done that, so I wouldn't bank on that too much. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we have 2 prime examples right here on the mic. Like, one, me moving 12 hours away from home to do something that
I was thinking about that,
nobody has ever done in my family. And then you leaving, you know, the corporate world to be like, you know, I'm gonna bet on myself and I'm gonna do what I love. I think like we're the most delusional people in the room.
I think so. Yeah. But let's stay there for a second. Like, when you think about the terms of being successful, I think we both agree that you have to be, just as you touched on, you have to be crazy, right? You have to be, the goals that you set have to be something that's out of this world that only you can believe that you can do.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Have to be outrageous.
Outrageous. You know, like you said, I'm sure people thought you were crazy to up and leave Michigan to come to New Jersey for basketball. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you think about that, and I'm sure when you told friends and family and things like that, they were kind of like,
Yeah. What the heck is New Jersey?
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, right. Now we'll see you in a couple weeks. No, yeah, man. It's and that's like kind of like the hard part, right? So you have people that maybe congratulate you, but you don't necessarily believe in their congratulations because you can kind of feel, or maybe you just, to me, I just like feel like if you're being fake or if it's
almost
really
like fake love,
right? Yeah. So there was a lot of people that I thought there was a lot of fake love there that that's a good start, but like you said, we'll see in like a couple months, or maybe we'll just give it a year.
Yeah.
It's as long as you're staying level headed and you're focused on your path, you got blinders on, I think you can do it. I mean, I don't know, think about your situation leaving.
100%.
I'm sure like your bosses at the time, or I think in the other episode would they laugh at you or something, or
they were like, I mean, nobody,
they just let you go. They're like, oh yeah, all right.
I think to a certain extent, like I said, people seem to think that because they have done it or they haven't seen anybody do it, that it's unreachable. And I think, at least for me, that's motivating in itself, right? So beyond being just delusional and crazy, you kind of build, because you've built this persona of just being delusional, you kind of build this confidence that's unreal.
Yeah.
At least for me, and it's like, and I'll ask you this, I'll phrase it this way. Let's say that you had to do it all over again, right? And I would say, obviously there's a certain level of success that you've had, but there's more success to come.
Yeah.
Right? So if you had to do it all over again, do you believe that you could do it again? Do you think that you could repeat it again?
I think I could. Like, just kind of thinking about, like, let's say like I left New Jersey and try to go into a new state.
Yeah.
I think it definitely could be attainable, and I don't even want to say I think, I know that it could be, because just all the stages I went through, but more importantly, how delusional I am. Right? So always going back to that, you got to be crazy enough to just, if it like, no, it's gonna work. I don't care if it's not working right now, but it's gonna work. Like I don't have like a quit factor type attitude or type demeanor. But yeah, I mean, I would do it 1,000% over again.
And I think that speaks on the confidence that comes with it, right? Mm-hmm. So when I talk about confidence, and when I think about the confidence that you now have and I now have, we may not have had that same confidence 4 years ago. Yeah. But there was a belief system that allowed us to grow that confidence, right?
And how many people were in your corner? Like,
there wasn't many.
Yeah,
there wasn't many. Yeah. And even to this day, I think that there's a lot that are still surprised. Like, wait, you're doing what?
Yeah. I get looks all the time. Like, people ask me what I do, and they're like, "Huh? Like, you're small," or like, "You do that in your spare time?" Like,
yeah. But it's I don't know. I can't talk enough about the confidence that comes with that. And what's even more confident is that I honestly believe that I've learned enough and I've gained enough information in that process that I could turn to Jimmy next to me and do the same thing with him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like if somebody were to come to me tomorrow and say, "Hey, I like what you do. I love what what you were able to do. Do you think you could show me the way?" I think I could do it, and I think I could do it like fast. Like, do you know what I mean? But that's just the level of confidence that I've built from being delusional.
And if you're gonna do it for Jimmy, I'm gonna do it for Johns.
Jimmy Johns.
That we're not sponsored, but we should be. No, I like it, and that's the like kind of one thing that growing up I was always told, like, be confident and not cocky. So there was there's obviously a different level of it, but I think our confident level, it might come off cocky, but it's really not. It's like you said, we've done it for so long, we've learned so much, we're still learning. But you know, we're on the right track of, all right, you know, we got a good handle on this.
Yeah.
Like, type of thing. And but
the funny part is like, I don't want to make it sound like we're invincible, right? So like there's things that, you know, people may not see behind the scenes that we might try and realize that, all right, that's maybe not the best thing. But in doing that, you learn whatever was meant for you to learn. And then you can go back and either do it again and do it differently or whatever.
And I think that bleeds what we just talked about in our personal life experience. It just bleeds over to basketball skills training that we do and playing, right? So, you know, you've gone through this checklist. Maybe you've gone through this whole year with us working out, and you're like, oh, okay, you know, I can't believe I couldn't do this a year ago. Yeah. And then you could go back and you're like, oh, I got this now. Yep. Or, you know, wow, I can't believe I was a horrible finisher at the rim, you know, 2 years ago. Now I'm just finishing over people, around people. Yep. I'm torquing my body all around. Like,
torquing or twerking?
Twerking.
Wait, with an O?
Yep.
Okay. That was the Michigan accent. I had to double check.
I really have to emphasize my orc. But yeah, no, it's,
no, you're right.
You know, it bleeds over to the court too, and it's really fun to see, you know, players that are consistently with us. You can see their confidence level. Like, man, you weren't this kid a year ago. Yeah, you know. We even see it in a couple of weeks of just like, man, they got like a swagger about them that, you know. And I call our training, like, once you obtain something, it's like you just unlocked a superpower.
You're absolutely right.
And with those superpowers just comes confidence and like just the way you walk and just the way you kind of construct yourself, you handle yourself. And you know, unfortunately, we don't get to go out to a lot of games, but it's great to hear from even those parents or even like other parents who's like, oh man, like, yo, this kid is just something different. Like, you know, I can see the training come to life. I can see the transfer over. Yeah. And the confidence is right there with it. Because once you have confidence, I mean, it's game over. It's lights out.
Anything like when you have, like, you're absolutely right. When you have confidence, there's so many things that you can do or that you feel that you can do. It's honestly like a superpower. Like you said, it's an amazing feeling. So we hope to build that within all of the players and ourselves, and, you know, continue to show that progress and things like that. I don't know why I had this thought, but it was like, and it's not really with basketball, but we, like, when you talk about our delusion and our willingness to kind of like learn and build on the fly, right? One of the things we've been doing something I think is pretty amazing, like behind the scenes. We've been building credit, like, off out, like behind the scenes, we've been building credit, and Zach and I talk about this, and, you know, it's as part of business and, you know, just growing. It's one of those things that, you know, we were never taught. We were never, you know, we were never introduced to, never had a class. Yeah. So it's good to see, like, the way that we kind of, I don't want to say learn on the fly, but it's almost like that, right? So if I learn something, I make sure that it works, and then I pass it along to you. You learn something, you make sure that it works, and then you pass it along to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's an amazing feeling to, again, when you share those same goals as other people, whether it's, you know, being an actor, whether it's being a superstar or a famous person, whatever that is, influence, whatever. When you align yourself with people that have those same goals, you start to go on that journey with them, and it makes it that much easier. It makes it more fun. Mm-hmm. It makes it, I don't know what the word is, but now you have somebody to bounce stuff off of that, you know, might have a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
A different level of delusion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've mentioned it off air, but you're like the business guy and I'm like the basketball guy, right? So like I learned, like, if not every day, it's like every week I learn something business wise from you. And then, you know, it's amazing because it's like, oh shoot, man, like, how'd you do that? And I just like, I get on like maybe a computer or my phone and I'm like, yo, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And then we go down this rabbit hole of trying to get everything together. But but yeah, man.
No, it's fun, man. Man,
another dope topic filled, interesting
2023
episode of Dish and Dimes. We had a blast.
Dude, we're almost coming up on like our year. I think we'd already passed
a year of Dish and Dimes.
Huh?
We gotta double check that because I think it's coming up. I think we started up in January.
We're in January.
Yeah, I think we're almost there. We're gonna have to celebrate that in some way.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a balloon.
Yeah, right. Oh man, but
man, that was a good
guess what?
Yo, what happened to peace?
Peace.
We out. We got kids at the door.